Well, the insurance company, in direct opposition of this,
Right.
recommend you do use these parts
Yes.
in the repairs.
Yes.
Now, why would they do that? It's money, folks.
It's money.
It's money.
That's all
it's
it
money.
is.
It's not about you.
Nope.
It's about them.
It's not about safety.
Yeah.
It's about profit.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Airing of Grievances. I'm Eric Reamer. That's Robert Grieve, and we are ever so thankful that you are here today with us. Now, if you're watching the premiere with us, as it airs for the very first time, you can chat with Rob and I. We're always watching at Saturday morning, 9:30 a.m. here in the Mountain Standard Time, and you can chat with us using the chat tab on YouTube. And if you're watching this in a replay, just leave us a comment. Let us know that you were there and that you appreciate the information that we're putting out there. Speaking of appreciation, if you don't mind, give us the thumbs up. That goes a long way. YouTube actually tells other people about this video, and that sharing is caring.
Amen.
That's what they say. All right.
We'd appreciate it.
And warm greetings to all of our regular viewers. We appreciate you. If you haven't yet done it, click the subscribe button and the little notification bell. That tells you that we're putting out another one of these content. And let me tell you this, Rob. Last week's video is kind of the launching pad for this week's video. And
Actually, the last 2 weeks.
You're right. So I'm going to put a link both here above to that video and both videos below in the description box so that you can kind of catch up with where we're going with this. And if you see as they develop, there's actually a very real, very important reason.
Important message
that we're putting out here, right?
Yeah, an important message.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for those people, I'm back from SEMA.
Yeah.
And saw so many amazing people there,
Yeah.
friends, and the amount of people that came up and mentioned that they appreciated the videos that we're putting on was heartwarming and overwhelming, to tell
Yeah.
you the truth. And
Yeah.
I just appreciate all of you guys so very, very much. You made my trip to Vegas.
Well, no video is actually underway until I say happy Saturday to you.
Happy Saturday to you, my dear friends. Happy Saturday to you.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about what we're doing. We got a car in, and again, you can go back and see the videos below. But we got a car in, and it had been repaired by somebody else, another shop, and there was a conflict of interest. At least that's kind of the way that we see it, where the shop is both an OEM certified shop. That is the
Plaque on the wall.
The manufacturer says you've jumped through all the hoops, bought all the equipment, done all the right training, and we approve you. And maybe I'll go one step further. The manufacturer says we approve you to perform the proper repair. And then there's the other side of the coin, which is this particular shop, like many, is in a direct repair partnership program with one of the insurance companies.
Yes.
And that caused stress. And in the end, the shop chose to go the path of least resistance and most profitability for them, and
the insurance company
listened to the insurance company over the OEM's procedures.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at today.
Yeah, and we're picking up the pieces because this is really critical to the consumers.
Yeah.
Very, very critical to the consumers. So please hang in there. We had mentioned in that last video about the Hyundai position statement, which is available. All the manufacturer's position statements are available in one spot.
Right.
OEM One Stop, nice and easy to get to.
Yep.
And they actually have a OEM One Stop, which is a product of the Alliance of Automobile Manufacturers.
Okay.
which is also part of the roundtable, OEM roundtable.
Yes.
Where they all sit around and figure out how they can best help the consumer in the collision space.
Right.
They put out their own statement on the use of OEM repair procedures.
Okay.
And it starts out with an automaker's top priority is its consumers' safety, as is safeguarding the overall health of the motor vehicle fleet utilizing our nation's shared roadways.
Right.
So it's not about just you and your car, but if your car fails, is it going to cause damage to somebody else?
Clearly.
It says all post-collision vehicle repairs must be conducted in accordance with the repair procedures issued by the vehicle's original manufacturer, OEM, specific to that vehicle's year, make, and model. This includes any directives contained therein relative to pre- and post-scanning. And then they talk about some other stuff. But here's the thing. Failure to follow OEM repair procedures in the course of a post-collision repair should be considered an unauthorized modification of a vehicle and its systems, introducing the potential for bodily injury and death to any future drivers and occupants of the vehicle, as well as occupants in other motor vehicles on the roadway.
Yeah, we're not playing around here.
This is, they take this very seriously.
Yeah.
And Hyundai puts out, lots of position statements and tons of procedures on how they want their vehicles fixed.
Sure.
I shared 2 weeks ago the position statement that they have on the use of counterfeit, gray market, aftermarket, imitation, recycled collision repair parts, or from the junkyard, if you will, alternate or other original equipment parts.
Right.
And so they don't want you to use that stuff in their repairs.
Right.
And it goes back to the statement. This statement supports that statement.
Yes.
And there's a reason why. And so if we go down this position statement from Hyundai on the use of parts, they say here, Hyundai does not recommend the use or reuse of components removed or recycled from an existing collision-damaged vehicle. It may be difficult to tell if the recycled parts are non-original equipment parts, or if the parts have been damaged as a result of a prior collision or exposure to the elements. So these cars are sitting out in a junkyard
Sure.
for God knows how long.
Yep.
And, they're not covered and all the rest of that stuff, so things tend to deteriorate.
And this is where the insurance companies recommend that the body shops go shopping.
Yep, and the insurance company, in direct opposition of this,
Right.
recommend you do use these parts
Yes.
in the repairs.
Yes.
Now, why would they do that? It's money, folks.
It's money.
It's money.
That's all
it's
it
money.
is.
It's not about you.
Nope.
It's about them.
It's not about safety.
Yeah.
It's about profit.
Yeah. So, it's important, that we pay attention to these things. So I'm going to ask Eric to throw a couple pictures up here. And this first one, everybody's familiar with your rear bumper.
Sure. That's a bumper cover.
That's the bumper cover.
Yeah.
And once again, the bumper cover's job is to look pretty and cover.
Yes.
It covers up all the stuff that you don't need to see.
Good, bad, or ugly.
Yeah. So if we go to the next picture, I've turned the bumper cover over.
Yep.
And in here, you see this, what we call a bumper reinforcement. That is the critical piece, or the critical ingredient to this cake.
Okay.
That is what protects you in a rear-end collision.
Yeah, this looked different to me when I saw it from this angle, because normally I see it with the bumper cover off but still attached
Yes.
to the vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
This is the side that attaches to the vehicle that we're looking at here in this photo.
That is correct.
And,
it sits nice, inside the bumper.
Yeah,
And it does hold some electrical components
sure.
and sensor brackets and so on and so forth. So it's kind of an important piece for a lot of different reasons.
Yes.
But in this particular case, The insurance company, or maybe the shop did it on their own, or maybe it's the directive, I'm not sure how it came about. They put a used bumper reinforcement in here. So out of a junkyard.
Okay.
Sometimes on an estimate it'll say LKQ, like, kind, and quality.
Right.
Sometimes they'll say used.
Yes.
Keep your eye out on these estimates. You need to read these estimates. If you have questions, send them to me. I'll help you out with them.
They rarely say salvage or junk, but those words are interchangeable.
Yeah. It's all the same thing. But we've already talked about how important this piece is because it bolts to the frame of the vehicle.
Yes.
And it directs the load path should you be hit in the rear, which is very common these days.
We should also make you aware of another video that we did many months ago on the transportation of energy, the load path that he's talking about.
Yeah.
And you can find that up here, and I'll put it down in the link below as well.
Yeah. So I'm going to pull that rebar out so you can get a better look at it.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And you can see all the wires attached to it. And it's a hardy piece. It's a hardy piece. Now remember what Hyundai said about used parts.
Don't use them.
Don't use them.
Right.
So to a lot of shops that, we want to recycle cars and be environmentally, keep reusing stuff and
Save your Coke cans.
Yeah.
Don't reuse automotive parts.
Yeah. So anyway, they decided to use a used LKQ, junkyard, salvage yard, whatever, recycled part on the most important part of the repair.
Okay.
And meanwhile, the young lady that owns this vehicle has a son that rides in the back in a child seat. So, it's more than just the right thing to do. It's entirely the right thing to do.
Yes.
Is to put a factory brand new one in it
Right.
after it's been hit in the rear. So we're going to take a look at this because the manufacturer says don't use this. And they say don't use it for a few different reasons.
Right.
But one of them was we don't know if it was involved in a prior loss.
Right. Another collision.
So let's turn this bumper over, or this reinforcement over, and take a look at it. Well, you can tell it actually is a LKQ part because they put this yellow writing on it.
Sure.
Because it's sitting up on a, wherever it is, it's getting sold as just one piece instead of
Yes.
a whole bumper. And the next thing we're going to do is take a closer look at it.
All
And I
right.
got a little video here, I think.
Yep.
And there it is. Okay. Now look at the crack.
Wait a minute. That's a crack.
It's
That's-
cracked.
It's cracked all the way through. Whoa.
Yeah. And if we turn it over again and look at the other side, there we go. Wait a second. It's cracked there also.
Wow. There's no way that could be structurally sound enough.
No, it's junk. Should have stayed in a junkyard. Now, we have a couple of things here. The person that received this part for the shop
Yeah.
should have rejected it.
Right. Quality control.
And a seasoned technician doing this type of a repair should have noticed that and raised his or her hand and said, no, we
So
can't put
there's-
this on this car.
2 layers of quality control that were intentionally or otherwise overlooked. It has to be intentional. I'm sorry.
I don't know.
That's my opinion.
Yeah, but you know what? When you're on flat rate, which is the way technicians are paid, it's about getting the car in and out. So you provided me the part, I put it on the car. That's what I get paid to do.
Since you raised that point, let's make the point here that here at Nylund's Collision Center, we don't pay by flat rate at all.
Never have.
And that's how we ensure that you get the proper repair every time, because the guys are getting paid for the service that they're doing, not trying to rush things out
That's
faster
correct.
and faster.
That's correct.
All right.
So best thing would have been to handle this up front and never even put that part on the estimate and source it this way. That had no regard for the consumer or the occupants of the vehicle. Especially a part, that's so safety related.
Absolutely.
I mean, that is what stops a vehicle from behind coming into the car. So the OEM puts out these position statements.
Yeah.
For all the right reasons. And repairers should focus on that and look out for the guest. The guest should come first in all these decisions.
Yeah.
And everybody else second. If you're in a partnership, again, this was repaired by somebody that was Hyundai certified. So how could be Hyundai certified, know that they don't want you to use these parts, and then go ahead and put one in and not even check it?
Yeah.
And what did it take for me to check it? I didn't even build the car. I just pulled the thing out and said, hey, what's going on here?
Yeah. This is just a series of issues.
But they made the point for the OEMs. This is why they have that in their position statements, because that happens.
Yeah, the following of procedures is so important, and it's driven home to me every single week, and hopefully we are driving it home to you as well. One of the things, we probably won't make a video about this, but we can certainly talk about it just for a moment, is that when this repair was originally done, not only did they put junk on the car, but they repaired the car inappropriately. And some of the clips were the harness clips for the wires that have to do with the safety.
Blind spot monitors,
right.
Cross-check, were crushed.
They were crushed because they put the strap on wrong.
Yep.
And just a cavalcade of errors. And that's why it's so important, because, these mistakes, and I don't even know if we can call them mistakes, because a mistake is an accident. And this is beyond the level of accident.
Yeah. Well, the good news is that the insurance company finally sent a representative out that we've been asking for months.
Okay.
To look at this vehicle and go over it with us, and I did a presentation of the facts.
Yes.
Which really just started out with, let's do a discovery into whether this vehicle was repaired to pre-loss condition. And let's decide if that occurred before we decide about what corrective actions might be needed.
Pre-loss condition is the terminology that the insurance company actually uses and bases their
policies
reimbursement
on it fared well for the guest, not so well for the insurance company. They are totaling the vehicle. And my guess is that shop will have to pay the insurance company back for anything that they lose over this. And but thank goodness that we got these people off the road.
Yeah.
And she's not driving around with her child in the back of the car with, I don't know how that's going to react. And I don't think anybody else does too. Maybe you don't think it's a big deal. I do.
Yeah, you don't want to roll the dice on that. And that's the big message here. Is get your repair done by somebody who cares about you first, and not their bank statement or their profit margin.
And if you have any questions, you can always contact me. But always review the estimate of how they're going to repair your vehicle, what kind of parts they're going to put in it. Ask a lot of questions, and make sure that they understand you want them to send you any updated or revised estimates as soon as they're sending them to the insurance, so you can be aware of what's going into your vehicle. And again, if you have any questions, we're happy to go through that with you.
There you go.
So,
well, Rob, thank you for your time. Thank you for your interest in the safety of our guest. And gosh, folks, take this stuff seriously. Share this video with people that you care about, because these things really do matter, and they impact and affect all of us.
They do. Sir?
Happy Saturday.
To you, my dear friends, God bless you. Have an amazing week. See you next week.